Do you feel like you keep attracting the same toxic relationship over and over again? Are you afraid of being fully vulnerable and open in a relationship because of fear that they might leave you? Do you catch yourself wanting to say the right thing in the relationship? I know we all have. In order to please the other person. In this video, we're gonna dive deep into why you might be attracting the wrong person in your life and 5 tips to help you find a healthy and happy relationship. Up next. Hi, my name is Cristy. Welcome back, guys. I am founder of Healing with Cristy. I help you heal your pain, find your voice, break free from needing others, and live with purpose. All right, guys, so let's get right into it. What is a toxic relationship? A toxic relationship is when you are with someone that damages your self-esteem, takes away from your growth, and prohibits you to fully express who you are. When we are in a toxic relationship, it might feel like you're stuck in it and you're in this state of confusion, unwilling and unable to know how to get out, and even if you have the strength to get out. So here are some signs of a toxic relationship. Number 1 is that you dismiss your wants and needs because you feel like the other person doesn't care. Have you ever expressed to your partner how you want to be loved, things that you want from the relationships and are lacking, and you feel like they either dismiss it or make fun of them? Number 2 is getting triggered easily. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where the smallest things drove you insane? That you were constantly getting triggered, belittling each other, nitpicking at each other every time someone did something even small, or even to the extreme of screaming at each other every time you felt triggered, having just explosive matches and screaming matches. And after the fight, you brushed it underneath the rug and just pretended like it never happened. Usually when you start to get to the point in a relationship where you get triggered really easily, it's usually a sign that there's built up resentment and suppressed resentment. So this is one of the biggest signs if a relationship is turning toxic. Number 3 is that you don't feel safe to communicate and be vulnerable in the relationship. Lack of communication in a relationship is usually because there is a lack of trust. When there is lack of trust in the relationship, at some point you felt like what you had to say wasn't important to your partner or that they dismissed it. And because of that, you start suppressing your truth and it starts building up anger. So number 4 is build up resentment. I think that this is the biggest cause to a toxic relationship. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where you felt like your partner was just keeping tally of everything that you were doing wrong, and out of nowhere bringing it up in arguments or in different conversations, just literally out of nowhere? Usually built up resentment is caused or happens when you express a need or a want or something that is bothering you in a relationship, and you feel like your partner doesn't take it into account, doesn't validate it, and they just sweep it underneath the rug like it never happened. And because of that, you feel like anger is building up within you and you're suppressing your truth just to not cause another argument, but in reality, it's just building up that resentment and anger even more. The 5th sign that you might be in a toxic relationship or have been in a toxic relationship is dishonesty. When someone is being dishonest in their relationship, they can either be living a double life, so cheating or hiding what they're really doing when they're out and about, or they're being dishonest in conversations. So whenever you feel like you confront the person, they either avoid it, they shoved it to the side, or they just tell you what you want to hear in order to avoid confrontation or intimacy. At this point where there is this type of dishonesty, there's usually a lack of respect for themselves or for the other person. All right, guys, so you might be asking yourself the best question that you can ever ask. Why am I even attracting these kinds of relationships into my life? Great question. In my life, in my own personal life, when I was in a relationship, I felt like they always ended the same. It felt like as if I was dating the same person with a different face. And I was always going from one relationship to the next. So even before the relationship was over, I was already lining up the next guy so I wouldn't end up alone. And I find myself being attracted to either emotionally unavailable men. I was already going into the relationship with fear of being vulnerable. And I always found myself finding guys that I could fix. If you are someone that can relate to my experience, make sure you stay till the end, where I'm gonna give you powerful tools to attract a healthy and happy life. So why do we even attract these kinds of relationships in the first place? Someone that is stuck in that toxic cycle, usually in their childhood, they experience some sort of abandonment. So either their dad pushing them aside or pushing you aside and not giving you the love that you wanted, or even abandoning you, or your mom constantly telling you what to change and not always being satisfied with just who you are and how you were acting. Or even your sibling, having a sibling that is constantly pushing you down, not making you feel important. So these are signs usually that can cause you to start doubting your self-worth. So the relationship that we seek is a reflection of what we lacked in our childhood. So a great example of your childhood being a reflection of what you seek in a partner is if you consider yourself a fixer. So if you were a child experiencing a dad that either was emotionally unavailable or wasn't showing you the affection that you wanted, you might be finding yourself seeking a man that is emotionally unavailable and making it a project to fix them, just how you wish you fixed your dad. So because you couldn't get that from your dad, you're trying to recreate the same scenario in the present moment and make the person that you're attracted to a project in order to fix them, to find your sense of self-worth by changing them. All right, guys, we reached the second part of the video. Wow. In the second part of the video, I'm gonna give you valuable tips to start attracting a healthy and happy relationship. The first tip is to start healing your childhood wounds. Get to know your patterns in a relationship. Get to know the wounds that you have from your childhood. In this time and in this process, get yourself a journal and ask yourself the following questions. The first question is, how did I feel pushed aside in my childhood? Second, what did that make me believe about myself because I was pushed aside? And the third question is, what are my fears that came out because of it? The second tip is to get to know your values that are important to you and your natural way of being. With getting to know the values that are important to you, look around in your life for someone that you admire or a couple or relationship that you aspire to have. What are the values that they have? How do they speak to each other? What's the lifestyle that they live? Get to know that part of yourself. And regarding your natural way of being is, am I funny? Do I like adventure? Do I love to laugh? Am I always seeking for something new? So get to know your natural way of being and the way that you are when no one is watching, right? And the things that you desire, that you want from life, but also from a relationship. All right, the third tip is personally my favorite one. Write yourself the perfect partner list. And with this one, go ham, have no restrictions. If you had the man of your dreams, the woman of your dreams, how would they be? How would they act? What kind of lifestyle would you guys live? So write yourself the values that they would have. Would they over communicate? Would they respect you, love you, kiss you all the time? Would they give you space and allow you to have your freedom? What kind of lifestyle would you guys live? Would you live an adventurous lifestyle, a free one that is just, you guys just buy a van and travel everywhere? Is he gonna be or she gonna be fun, funny, extroverted, a little introverted, that likes to read, that loves to talk for hours. Whatever it is, go in with this one and write yourself the perfect partner list. The importance of the perfect partner list is that you already have a visualization of how they would be, how they would act. So in a lot of ways, you're very clear into what you want and what you don't want. The fourth tip is to love yourself how you would want someone else to love you. And personally, this is one of my favorite ones as well. A lot of times we are depending to be in a relationship in order to be happy and fulfilled. And a lot of times we don't really spend time to just love ourselves, to have time for ourselves to ask, how do I want to live, or how do I want to love myself today? So with that question asked, ask yourself, what have you been wanting to do and still haven't done? Have you been wanting to take salsa classes? Have you been wanting to go play beach volleyball? Hence me in my life. Have you neglected yourself physically? Gotten yourself to get a massage? Went out for a dinner that you paid just by yourself? However it is that you find that self-love, do it. Why? Because when you are in a relationship, you know exactly what it feels like to be loved because you already did that for yourself. So when someone comes in and doesn't mirror or give you that same love that you have been used to giving to yourself, it's going to be easier to know if that relationship is for you or is not for you. The fifth and final tip is to create a safe space at home. When you are getting to know yourself and you're single, having a designated space in your home where you can wake up and write in your journal, read daily meditations, or even just sit with your thoughts in silence is an incredible tool to bring into a new relationship, to create a safe space to be open and vulnerable. So anytime that you find yourself getting triggered, which you will, you can carry the conversation into this safe space and set an intention for both people to be vulnerable, to speak from their heart, anything that they're holding or anything heavy or anything that is triggering them or why they're angry, and to listen to one another and have this type of intentional space to be open and vulnerable with each other. Finding a partner that you can have a healthy relationship with can feel impossible and hopeless. In order to attract this relationship, we must first heal the parts of us that feel unworthy to be in one, and to get to know our desires, what we want in a relationship in order to attract one. All right, guys, so if you loved this video, which I hope you did, make sure to hit the subscribe and bell button so you're notified as soon as a video comes up. If you want exclusive tools that I only share with my private community, make sure to go to my website and sign up for my email list. All right, so now it's your turn. What parts of you have you abandoned in a relationship, and how do you want to start recreating that love for yourself? Leave it in the comments below.